now moving into your month of May, a month to blossom, dear ones. A month to blossom into the new you, where that is concerned. A month to blossom into the beingness of you, where that is concerned. A month to blossom into the individuated adult that you are, where that is concerned, in many ways leaving behind the old wounding and trauma where that is concerned, and now blossoming into the adult, radiating, as we have said to you in the past, the radiant white light from within the soul space out onto the world where that is concerned, to be you, where you are now raising your resonance and vibration to a new level where that is concerned. Many have risen within themselves to a new level of resonance and vibration where that is concerned, into the individuality of the self and the uniqueness of self where that is concerned. And it's up to you, dear ones, if in fact you choose to look into the mirror, to recognize that where that is concerned. Recognize where you're resonating and vibrating. Recognize with whom you're resonating and vibrating where that is concerned. And through discernment, moving into the congregation of the new soul family, the uniqueness of the individual, the individuality of the individual where that is concerned, that is celebrated within the new soul family where that is concerned, which is exiting in many ways to herd conscious mentality where that is concerned, which in many ways is transpiring in your third dimensional realm. It always has been, and in many ways it always will be where that is concerned, which is why you have chosen, dear ones, the inner journey where that is concerned. The inner journey to move through the trauma, the inner journey to move through the wounding, the inner journey to move into the recognition of self where that is concerned, the true recognition of self where that is concerned. So you can look outside of yourself in the third dimensional realm into the low, dense vibrational aspects of the third dimensional realm where that is concerned, and see, based upon where you're resonating and vibrating, what resonates and what doesn't resonate for you. Something that we have told you many, many times before. But now, dear ones, as you move into your month of May, exiting from your month of April, it is now to blossom into that where that is concerned. It is now blossoming into the new sense of self, the new valuing of self where that is concerned, honoring and loving the self where that is concerned, in the uniqueness of self where that is concerned. As we said to you and we came to you in your month of April, it's not about looking at and seeing that you are different from others. It is about looking into the mirror and seeing in many ways that you are simply the other that you are looking at where that is concerned. But now it's about looking at your uniqueness in many ways, so you now can move into the new soul family, create the new soul family with those who see their uniqueness and in their individuality where that is concerned, but the equality and all-inclusiveness of the self where that is concerned. As we said to you, dear ones, it's not about seeing that you are different from others, that you are better from others, that you know more than others. It is about the equality of self where that is concerned. The equality that you have with another where that is concerned. But based on resonance and vibration, based upon where you are in your soul path or on your soul path where that is concerned, you are now discerning and choosing as the adult those with whom that is important for you to be in relationship with. Note, dear ones, choose as the adult. Because as you move through the process of where the wounded child was dictating your life where that is concerned, or running your life where that is concerned, in many ways you did not have a choice. Based upon your wounding, the choices that you were made were unconscious in many ways. Were simply based upon the wounded child making the choices, you created relationships surrounding that. And then on the pathway from those relationships that you created, you learned and grew based upon looking at your wounding and your trauma where that is concerned. So in many ways, for example, you made a choice based upon the conditioning from mom and dad where that is concerned. The wounded child making the choice where that is concerned. In many ways, dear ones, looking outside of yourself for the dad figure or the mom figure. The mom and dad you never had where that is concerned. And the wounded child making those choices. Now, as you have continued the inner journey, you can now begin to make choices based upon the adult where that is concerned. Those are conscious choices. Those are choices based upon where you are now resonating and vibrating. And many have moved, or in many ways, your month of May is where many are graduating into a new level of resonance and vibration based upon the loving and honoring and valuing of the self and the uniqueness of the self, moving more into an individuated adult making conscious choices through discernment, as opposed to the wounded child making choices based upon their wounding and the childlike needs where that is concerned. And what we mean by childlike needs where that is concerned is the need to be taken care of. It is important to understand, dear one, that the wounded child makes decisions to be based upon life and death. For the wounded child, the 6, 7, or 8-year-old child, looks to mom and dad for their survival. So in many ways, you had made choices in the past based upon survival where that is concerned. Upholding the 7, 8, and 9-year-old who has made those choices for you based upon survival, consciousness. So in many ways, many of the choices that you made were based in survival consciousness where that is concerned. As you now open into your month of May, you can move into the new fruition of the new self, which is a self at a higher vibrational level of resonance. The new self based upon the adult making choices, discerning, on a conscious level of relationships where there is a true balance of giving and receiving, not give and take. Meaning, I am giving to you because I'm expecting something from you and that I can take from you. So you're no longer living a life of attachments known as free will. I'm simply giving to you based upon the abundance and depth and breadth of my heart space, and there is no attachment to my giving. There's no expectation, because that, dear ones, is the wounded child. I'm giving to you and expect you to love me in return. I am giving to you so you can give me this. In many ways, many live a life fraught with attachments. As you move into the depth and breadth of your heart space, into the well of abundance of the you-ness of you, the unity of you within yourself, you no longer need to attach yourself to anything outside of yourself, much less the low, dense vibrational aspects of the third dimensional realm. And move into the uniqueness and the oneness and the unity of you within yourself, where you are now taking care of your own needs. You know how, as the adult, to express your needs with love, but you now know how to take care of your own needs. You are no longer meandering your way through life, aimlessly as the wounded child, looking for mom and dad, or how that translates into relationships outside of yourself for your needs to be met, or allowing them to take care of your needs. In many ways, thinking that they know what your needs are. You only know what your needs are, dear one, as the adult. See, these are all the new parameters that you are setting up for yourself as you move into adulthood. Adulthood. You're releasing blaming and shaming those outside of yourself for your plight in life. Because the wounded child knows no responsibility. It is now time for each and every one of you, as you're moving through this shadow period in your third dimensional realm, to begin to take responsibility for yourself. Begin to take responsibility for where you are in your life. Looking in many ways how you have done that. Looking in many ways how you can now expand your level of responsibility. And when you expand your level of responsibility, you can now form relationships with those who are doing the same. It is just another tool that you can give yourself. How am I taking responsibility for myself? Thus, when I move into relationship with others, are they taking responsibility for themselves? Another aspect of the criteria you have as you are discerning new relationships with wonderful and most glorious souls. Moving into adulthood, dear ones, to create the new soul family, whatever that is with you. It could be 1, 2, or 22 wonderful and most glorious souls who are in your soul family at various levels where that is concerned. Because as you move into those relationships, you now begin to, as the adult, to define the relationship that I'm having with this wonderful and most glorious soul. Define the relationship with what I'm having with this wonderful and most glorious soul. And then in tandem, together, define the relationship that you are having. And thus, you are living an authentic and transparent life. And authentically and transparently moving within the creation of the relationship, speaking your truth, stating your needs, communicating with love to another wonderful and most glorious soul. And this, dear ones, is moving, or you are now moving to a new level of resonance and vibration to do this with others. In many ways, living the Christ consciousness. So, dear ones, as you move into your month of May, it is a blossoming period into the new self, into a greater sense of self, a greater sense of loving, honoring, and valuing yourself, a greater sense of you as the unique individual, and then shining you out onto the world through the radiant, energetic white light, out onto the world, in many ways onto the shadow where that is concerned. Thus, moving yourself in many ways energetically above those low, dense vibrational aspects of the third dimensional realm. We are simply inhabiting and observing what is transpiring, allowing what is transpiring, if it does, to affect you, move within, have your feelings about it, yet releasing your attachments to it and projecting upon it. It is moving into a new consciousness, dear ones. As you move, dear ones, through your month of May and into your second half of your year of 2025, it will be the age of a new consciousness. See, dear ones, the energetic force surrounding your earthly plane that came into your earthly plane and then back in 2024 is still, dear ones, working within the parameters of the energetic aspects of the third dimensional realm. As you move into your month of June, you will be allowing to usher yourself into a new age of consciousness. The question for each and every one of you is, are you ready for that?